proposal format, here's how, if I had to recommend one format, one layout of how to do proposals, this is it. And I normally have all of these components with the exception sometimes of not having one of them. But here's what, I'm going to show you them here. And I think I have 3 or 4 that I want to show you and walk you through. The proposal format should include an opening, basically an opening sentence or two that stands out. It creates curiosity, it's memorable, and it's attention getting. Your goal for the opening is that they keep reading the proposal. Like, imagine if you had 10 proposals to read through. How quickly that gets boring. And a lot of these people, and the people you want to work for, are highly successful business people, and they don't screw around. If you lose them, you lose them. So get that going. Second thing is do the job. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. The big secret is do the job. Start doing the work. Here's how I see the opening paragraph of this article that you want me to write. Here's how the blog entry is going to go. Here's the coding format that I'm going to use. You'll have to excuse me because I don't know that much about programming, but explain. You can either make an outline of how you would attack the job, their particular job from a programming standpoint, or say, here's a particular snippet of code that I've been able to use and I think will work for you. It's got to be about them. This can't be examples of what you've done for others. This must be about them, their project, their business. Okay? And then we get into experience and testimonials. So you notice the first 2 things here. When someone writes a job and a project and you're going to bid on it, it makes sense that you tell them about you, right? But people really just care about themselves. These clients, they care about their own success and their own business. So that's why your opening statement really needs to be attention-getting and ideally about them and their success. And that's why you start doing the job immediately. All of a sudden, you're talking about them and their business and their job. They're interested. Now you've got their attention. Now you say, here's some of my experience and testimonials. Okay? Very important. You might be thinking, well, that's already on my profile. I'll just tell them to go look at my profile. This is another secret, smaller secret, but also important. List out your experience and your testimonials, including the 5 out of 5 ranking that you got, including the quote, and put it right in the proposal. And you say, well, that doesn't make sense. They should just go to my profile to read that. They're not going to go to your profile and read it. And even if they do, how does it possibly hurt you to list that you get 5 out of 5 rankings? You're going to put that right in here. People do, like if you've ever looked, if you're a web developer, you'll know what I mean by this. And if you've looked at Google Analytics and you spend any time analyzing what people read and how quickly they go, they're not going over to your profile and looking you up. It's unless they've already kind of decided they like you. Okay? So put it in there. Okay, and then your approach to the job. Oh, one other quick thing here. In your experience and testimonials, one thing I like to do with my experience is I actually like to say, I accomplished this. I raised the opt-in rate or the application submission rate on this particular web page that I built by 20%. And here's what my client had to say about it. And I got a 5 out of 5 ranking on it. Okay? So I've shared an experience and presented my testimonial sort of all in one. So then I talk about my approach to the job. Now this is different. Approach to the job is different than doing the job. Doing the job is you really want to begin to get into the nitty-gritty of the actual work. The approach to the job can be more of an outline. So if I'm going to be doing a marketing plan for someone, I'll list out, here's my 10 steps to a marketing plan. And I'll list them out. It's more generic, but it also explains my approach to the job. And then something very, very, very important at the end of your proposal is ask to meet with them. Some people are trying to win the job in the proposal. And it doesn't make sense because if you're bidding on the right jobs, there's a big commitment. they're going to want to talk to you anyway, whether you want to talk to them or not. They want to talk to you before they hire you. So very important that you ask to meet with them. And remember, you're normally dealing with, well, in this case, we're dealing with online freelance communities. So say something like, I'm happy to discuss this with you by phone or by Skype or on the Upwork site, wherever you want. My experience has always been to say phone or Skype, and that's worked very well for me. Okay, so now let me bring up my proposal, some sample proposals. What I've done over the years is I have kept sort of a scratch pad, if you will, and really just a copy and pasting of many of my proposals. And I'm going to share some of them here with you now. And I've outlined, sort of color-coded here, the opening of my proposal. Remember, curious, it stands out, it's memorable, it gets their attention. So that's going to be in blue. The doing of the job, which I kind of went on and on and on about, because I think you get my sense that I think it's important, that's going to be in green. Experience and testimonials in the proposal, that's in red. My approach to the job is in purple, and then finally in brown here, the ask to meet. So let's look at one here. I'm just going to scroll down. I just have this in a Word document, as you can see. And the first example number 1, is script writing. So this was someone that wanted help with a sales script. And so what I did, here's my opening. And I'm going to be reading to you. I hope you don't find this boring, but this is just so important. In fact, I'm going to zoom in here in case that font's a little small. So the first thing I said is, hello, let me start by providing examples of my ongoing success in script writing, both telemarketing and email communications. I provide scripting for 2 major call center clients presently. So I'll tell you, this wasn't quite as great an opening as I've done in some of my other ones, but this is, to me, is the one that should catch them. I provide scripting for 2 major call center clients presently. So in this case, I believe this was going to help me stand out. And then I go into, in this case, this is not in the exact same order as I have it listed here. I go into examples of my work with testimonials. I literally list out 5 out of 5 rating, 5 out of 5 rating. Now this one was a job I had that I also put in here. I don't have a 5 out of 5 rating because it had nothing to do with the freelance site, but this was very important, so I listed it anyway. And they're like, well, how can they verify that? They can verify these other ones, so they're probably going to trust me on this one. And then I have another one here. And then this is some additional write-up. I won't bore you by reading this, but then I go into doing the work. And what I'm saying is, let me give you an idea for my initial thinking for your script. And here it is. So this is the actual script. So this is an initial draft that I'm saying, here's the script based on what I know now that I would write for you. Here's an example of it. I'm sure nobody else is doing this, okay, for them. And then I list a couple of other things here, and then I say, here's my call to action. I hope you found my proposal helpful. I'd like to discuss this opportunity with you further by phone or Skype or email. So there's my call to action. I asked for what I want. I want to have a discussion with them. Also shows confidence, and it's to the point. All right, let's go to the next one. This was a training program. Okay, so this one's a little bit more catchy. This is the opening. I won't waste your time with a generic proposal or generic bio of myself. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically feeding into the fact that I know they're reading a lot of resumes and proposals. So I'm telling you, I'm not going to waste your time. And then I kind of lay out what I'm going to do. So I start with this one with my direct relevant experience, and again, I provide those rankings. Some of these are similar to the other ones. And then I give them my approach. You can see the order is not always the same, but here's my approach to the job. And then I say, now in this case, because they want to put together a training program. Well, I'm not going to I don't even have the materials to put the training together. I don't know enough yet to actually, to write up training. Plus, it would be a massive amount of work. But what they did provide in the project was all the different types of topics they wanted to cover. So what I did was I said, here's what I would do. Here's the actual entire outline of the training program. And I listed out this topic with a screencast, with a reference guide, and a test 1, 2, 3. This part with a screencast video, a reference guide, and a test 1, 2, 3. It's very repetitive, but it's incredibly detailed. And they're going to see all of their language about their organization and what they wanted to train listed over and over and over. Okay? And so this is why I did it that way. I'm feeding back to them what they care about, showing that I know how to put an agenda together for their training program. And again, I close it with a call to action, wanting to speak with them, have a conversation. All right, next one. I've got a couple more here I want to share with you. It's the same idea. This one was the way they titled it was almost more of a job versus a project, marketing director. And so in this case, I wanted to write something compelling. I said, see, you've already have a number of proposals in, and truthfully, I doubt a written resume for me is going to look that much different than some of your other qualified candidates. So I think I've now got their attention, right? I'm being cute. And it's okay to be cute, but you don't want to be disrespectful. So I said, I'll include it below regardless. But then what I've done here is, what I'd really like to do is share with you a 3-minute screencast video I made for your project and job. So I'm actually, just like I'm making these sort of videos, and you can use a service called Screencast-O-Matic. Screencast-O-Matic. And they'll actually, it's actually a free service you can use. I'm using a paid service, but there's actually a free service when you can do up little screencast videos like this. And almost everyone else is not going to do this. Probably no one that is bidding on the job. And so you've separated yourself just by making that extra effort. And then they're going to hear your voice. And you can put something on the video, like you can put a couple slides together, maybe a little flow chart, something like that. And what I said here is I want to share with you my approach to marketing that'll drive leads, opportunities, and sales. So I'm showing him how I want to do. I'm doing the work by doing a video for him and talking about their particular strategy that I'm envisioning for them. That's important. This part has to be about them. And what's a little different here is I actually call for the meeting up here. And then I continue to go down and list my accomplishments down here. And then along with my experience. And this is actually pretty long when you can see I have my marketing approach here. So I actually kind of went all out on this one. And then I guess I once again asked to discuss the opportunity. So I'm dragging on here a bit, but I'm hoping this is driving it home. I have one other example that I want to show you. But the idea is get their attention, do some of the work, and lay it out how you're going to do their job. So in this one, I actually said, your project caught my attention. Surprisingly, not that many businesses recognize the power of an effective sales letter and how it can drive business. So I'm actually complimenting them because what they wanted to do was a video sales letter. All right, and I'm saying, for you, here's the process of how to accomplish this video sales letter. There's 12 steps. And so I'm beginning to do the work for them, saying this is how it's all laid out. And once again, we have work experience and that call to action. Let's get on the phone or Skype. So once you do a bunch of these, you can start to get fast at it and better at it, and you can start to use some of the language that you've used before. But I think you can imagine that most people are not going to take the effort to do this, and they're not going to be as smart about it. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much for watching this entire video. I know this is probably the longest video of this course, and it is the most important. It is the most important lesson. And you do this and you follow this strategy, you're not going to be like all your competitors. And if you've done freelancing before and you've had some success, I think you'll find your success is going to dramatically improve. If you've tried before and never even gotten a response from someone, or you've never been able to get to that meeting stage, then I think you're going to find that this is really going to take you to the next level. And again, I'm not trying to brag about this, but this is not theoretical. These are actual proposals I have put in. These strategies have absolutely landed me plenty of work, a lot of work, and have enabled me to make a great living. So I'm really excited for you to try these and to take this approach.